The history of the Philippines, a journey through time. The history of the Philippines is a tapestry woven from indigenous cultures, colonial rule, revolutions, and the ongoing evolution of a resilient nation. Spanning thousands of years, it tells the story of diverse peoples, foreign conquests, and the eventual rise of a proud and independent nation. In this summary, we will explore the key moments in Philippine history that shaped its identity. Pre-colonial period, the indigenous roots. Long before the arrival of European colonizers, the Philippines was home to a variety of ethnic groups and tribes. Archaeological evidence shows that people lived in the Philippines as early as 67,000 years ago, as demonstrated by the discovery of the Calao Man in northern Luzon. The early inhabitants, the Negritos, were among the first groups to settle on the islands. Over time, Austronesian migrants arrived, bringing with them seafaring skills and agricultural practices. These people developed thriving coastal and inland communities, establishing trade networks with neighboring Asian nations like China, India, and the Malay Peninsula. By the 10th century, the Philippines was already a melting pot of cultures, where trade flourished between local kingdoms and foreign merchants. The island of Luzon, for instance, traded with the Kingdom of Tondo, while Mindanao had interactions with the sultanates of Sulu and Maguindanao. These early societies were organized into barangays, small, self-sufficient communities led by a Dadu chieftain. They practiced animism, worshiping natural spirits and ancestral gods. The Spanish colonial era, 1565 to 1898. The arrival of Ferdinand Magellan in 1521 marked the beginning of European interest in the Philippines. Magellan, a Portuguese explorer under the Spanish crown, is famous for discovering the Philippines for Spain, though he met his end in the Battle of Mactan, where the local chieftain Lapu-Lapu and his warriors resisted the Spanish intrusion. Despite Magellan's defeat, Spain continued its efforts to colonize the archipelago. In 1565, Spanish conquistador Miguel López de Legazpi established the first permanent Spanish settlement in Cebu, and later, the Spanish capital in Manila. For the next 333 years, Spain ruled the Philippines, exerting tremendous influence on Filipino culture, religion, and governance. Christianization. One of the most significant impacts of Spanish colonization was the spread of Roman Catholicism. Catholic missionaries established churches, schools, and hospitals with the goal of converting the indigenous population. Over time, Catholicism became deeply ingrained in Filipino culture, with more than 80% of Filipinos identifying as Catholic today. Religious festivals such as fiestas became central to community life, and centuries-old churches stand as legacies of this era. The galleon trade from the late 16th to the early 19th century. The Philippines played a crucial role in the global economy through the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade. This trade route connected Asia with the Americas, facilitating the exchange of goods like Chinese silk and porcelain for Mexican silver. Manila became a cosmopolitan city, a meeting point for different cultures, though the local economy remained largely agricultural. Resistance and revolt. Spanish rule was not without resistance. Throughout the colonial period, Filipinos revolted against oppressive policies such as forced labor, polo y servicio, and heavy taxation. Indigenous leaders like Diego Silang in the Ilocos region and Francisco Dagohoy in Bohol led uprisings, though they were ultimately unsuccessful in overthrowing Spanish rule. The Moro people in Mindanao also resisted colonization, maintaining their Islamic faith and defying Spanish attempts to conquer their lands. The Philippine Revolution and the fight for independence, 1896 to 1898. By the late 19th century, nationalist sentiments had grown strong among Filipinos, particularly the educated middle class known as the Ilustrados. These individuals, inspired by the liberal ideas of the Enlightenment, began advocating for reforms and greater autonomy from Spain. Among them was José Rizal, a writer and intellectual whose novels, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, exposed the injustices of Spanish rule. Rizal's execution in 1896 sparked outrage and ignited the flame of revolution. The Philippine Revolution, led by the Katipunan movement under the leadership of Andrés Bonifacio, aimed to overthrow Spanish rule and establish an independent republic. Conclusion. The history of the Philippines is a testament to the resilience, courage, and enduring spirit of its people. From its rich pre-colonial cultures to its struggles under colonial rule and its eventual emergence as an independent nation, the Philippines' journey reflects the strength of a nation that, despite centuries of foreign domination, has maintained its unique identity and values. Today, the country continues to grow and thrive, shaped by its past, but looking forward to its future.